everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a new makeup release video. So I'm starting to do these again every 2 weeks where I go over the new makeup releases and talk about my thoughts on them. If I'm going to buy them, if I'm going to skip them. I have kind of just been on a little bit more of a low buy, just more of a conscious consumerism route. So a lot of these I won't pick up, but I think it's fun to just go over the new releases and see what everyone's thinking about them. So if that also sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, we always have a lot to talk about, so let's just get started. All right. Like I said, there's always a lot to talk about. Every week as the new releases come in, I'm always thinking to myself, like, what am I going to talk about for this video? But then all of a sudden, boom, a bunch of releases drop. So I have a lot here. I'm going to try and keep it brief. I do think that this is the first video that I'm putting up, filming like with this background. If you didn't know, I am traveling all through August. I did September, October. I'm not even sure where I'm going to be. So please stick with me through the background. I am back home at my parents' house right now just for a week. So I'm filming a lot of content here while I have my collection, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm actually filming in my parents', they're like refurbishing their attic into a second story of the house. It's quite large. There's actually like 5 bedrooms up here, but it's very unfinished. So that's why I have this little painting back here. I'm doing the best I can and just trying to stick to my filming schedule. So hopefully that's okay. The lights aren't too bad. I kind of just threw this all together. Anyways, I'm just going to go in order that I have these saved from Instagram. I'm going to scoot over so I can pop up my photos. The first one I want to just briefly touch on, that's not necessarily a new release, but a relaunch is the Nomad. They're relaunching the Haunted Europe palette and the Ghost Town USA. They're going to be relaunching this on September 4th. I already have the Ghost Town USA, but the Haunted Europe has been on my wish list for a very, very long time. And I've seen that palette go for like 3 times the price on Mercari. Insane prices. So I am 100% going to be picking this up. They're supposed to announce the color story of their new palette, the Fiji something themed palette today. I try to film these on Saturdays. I put it up Sunday, so I don't have the color story just yet. I'll talk about that palette next new releases just because I don't want to touch on it, but I have seen it. I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up yet. I think though with the Haunted Europe, if I don't pick up the new Fiji, I will pick up the New Zealand at the same time because that one's also been on my wish list. So that's exciting for me. I'm just excited to like get something that I've been lusting over that I couldn't necessarily get. Now the next thing I have is a new palette from Urban Decay. This is kind of interesting, I would say. So this is the City Space Cowboy Star palette. There are 6 shades. And I don't have a price or a date, just says coming soon on their website and retailers. It's like this star palette with their shimmer shades. I think this is cute. I think it fits Urban Decay's vibe a little bit. It at least is getting them talked about a little bit more, other than just the Naked palette, but like something new. I will say though, like, I'm not going to pick this up. I think a lot of people will. But the star packaging, I don't like palettes that are oddly shaped, and I have too much to just fuss with that. So I'm not going to pick this up. I'm interested to see how the lid comes off because it looks like it's on a swivel and not like it doesn't fully come off, which a swivel would be better because the ones where the lid completely comes off, I have never had any of those, but I heard they're a pain in the ass. People lose the tops and all that. So hopefully it's kind of like a swivel action, but these do look really pretty. They look like the normal kind of space cowboy effect. And at least Urban Decay is going in a different direction and following the space cowboy footsteps rather than the Naked ones. Now the next thing I have is the new Cheek Suede Powder Blush from Fenty. This is going to be $28, and it's currently on the Fenty Beauty website. So this is One Swipe High Impact Color Payoff, Airy Soft Blendable Formula, waterproof, sweat resistant, matte and shimmer shades. It looks really pretty. Again, like the packaging, I can't tell from the photo, but is it like a trapezoid? It doesn't look like a full-on square. It looks like a trapezoid. So I'm a little bit interested to see that. That I can at least get on board with. It's good enough where I could store that. I'm kind of interested. The formula seems really nice. Like if it's what I'm imagining, it's gonna kind of be like the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blushes, which I really enjoy. Kind of like that very creamy, powdery kind of blush, not a full-on powder. And I really enjoy those types of blushes. I really enjoy that formula. It's nice and blurring on the skin. I like that there's gonna be matte and shimmers, because I kind of sometimes prefer a matte. I just don't prefer like a highlight blush. If it's a shimmer blush, that's okay, but a highlight blush, no. So we'll see. I might pick one of those up eventually. Like that's something I'd wait for a sale, but $28 is not bad. I'm definitely going to skip this. This is the Tower 28 Get Set Blur and Set Talc-Free Pressed Setting Powder. It has kaolin clay, squalene, hydrophobic silica, free of parabens. It is a clean beauty brand. It's currently on the Sephora website, again, for $28 each. I think this is probably a good extension to Tower 28, but Tower 28 is not a brand that I've really explored that much. I've tried the lip gloss. I've tried the cream blush that was really popular. I tried the cream bronzer. I decluttered that. So I know their mascara is really popular. A lot of people like them, especially like they fall into me, that like clean girl aesthetic. But because they're clean beauty, I just don't really feel like picking this up. This just seems like a Kosas powder part 2 for me, and that was like a disaster. I'm still bitter about that whole situation with Kosas, so I just don't want to repeat with that. And powder is not a category that I feel the need to try a lot. I have my tried and trues, and I really want to get use out of those and finish those up. So I'll be skipping this, but I'd love to know if you're interested on this, and if you're interested in any of the things that I talk about. Honestly, this is meant to be more just not me speaking my opinion, but like hearing everyone else's opinions as well. And one that I wanted to talk about that I thought was just funny is the Auntie Anne pretzel fragrance from Knead. I think Knead is the brand. I think. So this new scent will make you think you're smothering yourself in a warm, freshly made pretzel. Notes of buttery dough, salt, and a hint of sweetness. 1 ounce is $25, 3.4 ounces, $45. It's going to be available August 13th, so it's available now. And it's only going to be, it says it's going to be available at the pop-up in New York, but I don't know if you can get it anywhere else. I'd be interested to know that. I'm not going to waste my money on this. At least it's $25. So if you kind of want like a gag thing, like, okay, cool. But I don't know who really wants to smell like a pretzel store. And all these collabs with these like outlandish collabs that people do, like all the, like, what was it, Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings, like one of those, the mac and cheese nail polish, like all those things, like those are just, I don't know, I can't get into it. It's fun to like look at and laugh, but like actually spend my money on it, like no thank you. So I will be passing on that. After that, Charlotte Tilbury, I think that this is going to be her holiday launch already, but Trend Mood is sneak peeking it. So this is the Pillow Talk Love Eye Effect palette, 9 shades with different finishes, just says coming soon, so I have no info other than that. If I had to imagine, this is going to be one of her holiday launches because she launched this 9-pan format last year for holiday, and I did not purchase that last year, and that was before I was even on my no buy or trying to just be a little bit more mindful when purchasing. And I won't buy this either. You know, Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadows, they were hyped up for a while, And I will say they're like okay eyeshadows. They're not bad, but they're not worth the price point, in my opinion. Money's relative. I think that if they were like $30 for a quad, I could probably get behind that. But while this is not a quad, it has 9 shades. I don't think the formula is that great. I didn't hear good things about last year's 9 pan, so I'm expecting the same type of formula. And for me, like, I've just been into indie eyeshadows a little bit more. If I'm gonna wear an eyeshadow, I really want like that impact like I have today. I love my eye look. I'm currently doing looks with the Beauty Bay Botanical palette. That video should be coming up in a couple weeks maybe, because I already have my videos for next week set. But this is just like not my style anymore, and I could really dupe this with like the 4 Charlotte Tilbury quads that I have in my collection. I will also be skipping this. Now next, this I wanted to talk about only because I would actually potentially buy this if I knew I would use it more. This is the Bobbi Brown Cream Glow Highlighter in Bare Glaze. So this is inspired by the undone attitude of the 90s. It's a universal shade, and it's supposed to give the skin a subtle radiance and fresh look. I think this looks really pretty. It is limited edition, so that's annoying. It's available now in Germany, apparently, so I don't know when or how much it's going to be when it launches in the US. This just looks really, really pretty. It does look like it gives like that subtle highlight to the skin. I think I would like this. The problem is I never, ever reach for my cream highlighters. My liquid highlighters, my cream highlighters, I just don't reach for them. The closest thing I can get to being on board with a cream is the ColourPop Super Shock. I feel like they always feel sticky, and I always end up layering a highlight on top of it. So for me, it's just not worth it. Although I would say, like, I love Bobbi Brown's complexion products. I think they always do a really nice job. So like part of me wants to try it, but also part of me wants to like save my money. So there's that. Speaking about saving my money, let's talk about the Sonia G brushes, because she's coming out with 3 brushes. This is the Traditions Face Brush Collection. And I mostly wanted to talk about it because it looks like one specifically, that like very large fan brush, I think it's the Face 1, was designed for the application of powders or bronzers when we prefer to use a more fluffy and airy brush for a more natural, lightweight application. That looks like, and I have it next to me, maybe, it looks like this brush from Sonia G, which it was part of her limited edition collection, the Hinoki collection. It has these cranes on them, which is why I purchased this brush actually and splurged on it, because I love cranes. I actually used to really be into origami, and I made 1,000 paper cranes. So that's like a really big kind of like superstitious thing in Japan, where if you make 1,000 paper cranes, you're destined to have good luck, good fortune, or like some people say you can make a wish. So my bucket list goal is to take those 1,000 paper cranes and drop them off. There's a monument in Japan where there's just like millions and millions of cranes around it. That's on my bucket list. That's a side note, but that's why I purchased this brush. And circling back, I think that she just took this brush because it was limited edition and is making it more of a permanent collection, which is really cool. I use that brush all the time. I'm at least glad that I'm getting my money's worth out of that brush, and it wasn't something I just purchased for the packaging. So I would be interested in the other 2 brushes, but honestly, like, right now I just don't want to spend the money on Sonia G. I think she has really great brushes, but I'm trying to like stick to a budget. So if this was at another point in my life, I would like instantly buy everything Sonia G drops. I really do enjoy her brushes a lot, but for now, I'm gonna wait and see. I do I am a little bit disappointed that Sonia G does do so many limited edition collections. I understand that it's because all of her brushes are handmade and she can't like manufacture them as quickly as like BK Beauty or Singe or something like that, but I wish they didn't sell out so quickly and I had a little bit more time to save up and buy them rather than them just going out of stock right away. But if you're going to buy these, I'd love to know if you're like a Sonia G stan and solely swear by her brushes. I think the BK Beauty ones are pretty good too. I actually really like those. It's probably like one of my most used brushes. And those are a lot less expensive. Still expensive though, but a lot less expensive than Sonia G. I have my first indie palette to talk about. This is the Gourmande Girls Gourmandises, which is their first pastel-leaning matte palette, including 12 mattes, 3 duochromes, and 1 rainbow-shifting holochrome. Gourmande Girls kind of seems to be on a roll. Now, I've only tried one palette from them, and it was the Silent Night palette. I'll link my video up above of the review that I did on that palette, but I actually decluttered it because I did not like it. And for multiple reasons, not just like the formula, like there were a lot of factors that went into decluttering it. And I was a little bit not turned off from Gourmande Girls, but like they didn't blow me out of the water trying them for the first time, like Unearthly or Ensley Rain, etc. So I kind of had put Gourmande Girls on the back burner. And then the next palette they came out with, I think it was their next palette, was the Peach Perfect. And I really like that palette. That's on my wish list to buy. The Gourmandises palette, not really, only because I don't wear a lot of pastels. This is more of like a matte palette, and I do love my shimmers. So not the perfect palette for me. I much prefer the Peach Perfect if I have to choose between the two, but I do think this is a really cute palette. I love the theming of it. I think it's very cute. It goes perfectly, and I'm excited to see people's looks with it. Just, I would not do this palette justice, so I am going to skip on it. The next thing I have here on my list, I really want to know what people think, because I kind of think at this point that Dose of Colors is grasping at straws. And it makes me sad to say, because Dose of Colors was really, really popular. like they were like peak brand for a while, and I really think they declined. And quite honestly, like I think this is their last launch before closing. That's just like this inkling feeling I get. I feel like that they're just really trying hard to like get back out there, but they're not. So Dose of Colors is coming out with this, I don't even know what it's called. It just has it's like a sparkle stick. And is it called It's Literally Magic? I don't know. It just says It's Literally Magic multi-use shimmer stick. It's available now. I don't know the price. And it just says 0 fallout, maximum sparkle. Kind of similar to like the KVD Dazzle sticks is what it kind of looks like, but maybe more of a sheer base, a translucent base, whereas the Dazzle sticks from KVD are very pigment, like they have a good base pigment to them. I think these look really pretty. I'm not going to buy it because I'm not a shadow stick person. I know that that's really popular right now. A lot of brands are coming out with shadow sticks, but I feel like right now that's just a trend, and soon everyone's going to have all these shadow sticks that they don't reach for, and once the trend dies, that's what I'm thinking. I think this is really pretty though, and if you buy it, I'd love to know if it's as beautiful as it looks in the photo, because it does look very beautiful. Going back though, like I'd love to know if you think like Dose of Colors is on its last legs, because they've just had so many things on their website, like really, really discounted. Like their foundation was $5 for a long time. Like it looks like they're discontinuing that. So they're really trying, I think, to like rebrand and revamp their image. They did that collab a while ago. I don't know how successful that was, but I just don't hear a lot from them. So what do you guys think? I would really like to know. It would be really sad if they went out of business. I would be sad. We have more cream blushes. This is from Kylie Cosmetics. It's going to be the new lip and cheek blush tint. 6 shades. It's out already. Came out on the 13th. No price still on this. The colors look really beautiful, I will say. If they're like a tint, I think it could be really interesting. This also has like a very interesting applicator, similar to like the Charlotte Tilbury beauty wands. It kind of looks like that, but it looks more like actually a part of the component. Like it looks more on there. It kind of reminds me, and you'd have to be my age to remember this, but there used to be like this drugstore lipstick that came in a tube from maybe like Revlon, or I think it was Revlon, like one of those brands. And it had like this fuzzy tip applicator on it that was meant to like kind of blur the lip lines, right? And the applicator kind of looks like that. You'll see the photo. So hopefully the photo will explain more than how I'm trying to explain. I'm kind of interested by that because like, are you actually putting this on your cheeks from the applicator? Most people, I don't think, really do that. This is a skip for me. I prefer a cream blush over a liquid blush, so not something I need, but I am interested to see how it performs. I don't hear a lot about Kylie Cosmetics and people trying their products really, so I don't know how much of like a market or who their demographic is anymore. This launch is pretty exciting. This I'm 100% going to be picking up. Patrick Ta is sneak peeked his new foundation. Now, his first foundation did not go over that well. It seemed like most people did not like that. I did not try that foundation. Patrick Ta is not a brand I think, at least I used to not be able to get here in France. I wasn't able to find it. So I don't know if they're expanding or if they're available now. I would have to look, quite honestly. But I'm not surprised he's coming out with a liquid foundation. So this is the new Major Skin Luminous Perfecting Foundation. No date and no price. I think that this is going to be a very thin, lightweight foundation, and I'm not surprised he's releasing a foundation because in his last few Instagrams, he's actually been talking about how he's been like obsessed with underpainting. There's a few that come to mind where it really stood out to me, and he kept showing himself applying foundation on a model by underpainting, and he would always say like he would pump it to the back of his hand, spread a thin layer, and then use the beauty blender, bounce it once, and then go over the underpaint. I just remember that specifically because I was like, oh, that's a really good tip. And I started doing that by spreading the foundation really thin on the back of my hand to really spread it out, and then go in once with my beauty blender, and you get a thinner layer that way. So I think that his foundation was probably the foundation he was using. It's probably going to be very thin, very luminous. It says luminous in the name, so we'll see. But I'm very excited about this. I'm hoping it's going to be much better than the last one, but we'll just wait and see. I love trying foundations. You all know that by now, so I will be 100% testing this one out when it comes out. I'm not excited about this, and this brand confuses me. This is the Made by Mitchell Color Case Minis, the primaries. So he's coming out with 4 different little color compacts. This just seems more geared towards makeup artists, but do makeup artists want small compacts like that? Or maybe it's geared towards people who are much more creative and artistic with their makeup, like they use makeup more as artistry than I do. Like, it's a creative outlet for me, but I would say do more like traditional makeup. I don't know. I've never tried anything made by Mitchell. It seems to be really popular in the UK, but I just can't get on board with any of the stuff that he comes out with. I just don't really love. So if you have products you like from him, let me know. This retails for $23.25 US. I'm assuming that's probably around 25 pounds or so, since it's primarily based in the UK. The next product on my list here is, I think, one everyone's excited about, including myself. Dolly Parton announced that she's going to be coming out with her own brand, and the first thing that she's going to launch are her Heaven's Kiss lipstick collection. There's 4 shades, $20. There's going to be Jolene Red, Honey Plum, Rosebud, and Birthday Suit. Who doesn't love Dolly Parton? I mean, I don't trust you if you don't like Dolly Parton. Like, it probably says a lot about you if you don't like her. So, not that that means you have to buy the lipstick, but I'm going to buy the lipstick, that's for sure. I'll probably just buy one, which will be the nude. I'm assuming that's Birthday Suit. But I mean, I just feel like I have to have one of these. I'm trying not to buy too many lip products, but this is one I'll just have to test the formula. I think a lot of people are really excited about this, and I think it's fun for Dolly Parton to do. I'm happy to give her my money. She uses her money towards a lot of good things, so she can use a fraction of my money towards that. I'm very happy to do that for her. And we have some really good ones still, actually. We're going to end this on a high note, I think. I'm also very, very excited for the new Huda Beauty launch. They're coming out with the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation with Niacinamide, and then they're also coming out with the primer. I'm not really going to talk about the primer. I'm going to talk about the foundation because, man, I'm excited. This looks really nice. It's $37 each. It's currently available on the Sephora website, but it launches officially September 2nd. Now, for this, I'm for sure going to buy this before the Patrick Ta. And here's the thing. I'm going to be at the dog rescue when this launches. So I'd love to know down below, like, I will buy this, but I won't be able to send it to myself. I'll have to wait until I come back in October to get this foundation and review. So even though I won't be able to review this like super, super early, will you still be interested in a foundation review and wear test? Honestly, I'll probably still do it regardless. But let me know if you're fine. Like, do you still watch videos if it's not like the newest of the new? It's a little bit older, like 1 or 2 months. I would like to know like what you gravitate towards when you're watching videos, because I just think this looks really nice. It's supposed to be lightweight, non-comedogenic, ultra blurring, medium to buildable coverage. And she's been doing like a lot of photos on her Instagram with no filter. So I think this looks really nice. And another really great thing about this foundation is I looked on the Huda Beauty website because she has it she has it showing on the website, but it's just not available yet. And she's also going to be selling this foundation in a mini for $15. So I will for sure be buying the mini because I'd rather try a small size, see what I think, and if I actually finish the mini, which chances are I will not because I have so many foundations, then I can buy the full size. I love it when brands come out with minis over a full size. So this is what I'm definitely going to be picking up. The next one I want to pick up, but realistically I won't. Chanel is coming out with their Cream Light Mist blushes. Coming soon, no prices. We have, let's see, they're showcasing 5 shades here. And this, similar to the Fenty, looks like a very similar formula, like the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur, where it has this like velvety finish is what they're saying, kind of like their version of a cream. If it's like that, I will for sure pick one up. Hopefully this is part of like their permanent collection, at least for a while. I don't think it's one I'll pick up right away, but it's one that I will eventually pick up because I'd be really interested, and I'm a sucker for some luxury products. What can I say? As long as I'm going to use it, that's all that matters. It's actually a thought through purchase. A few things left and then we're done here. No, I still have a ton to do. Oh, we're gonna have to wrap this up real soon. All right, I need to stop talking so much. Ulta and Ilia. So Ilia is gonna be coming to Ulta. I think that's really great. I love Ilia as a brand, so I'm very happy to see them in Ulta. While I can't shop at Ulta, I'm happy that Ulta is like slowly climbing the ranks and coming over Sephora. I think that it's much needed. Sephora was just feeling a little bit high and mighty, like on top of their mountain, and I'm kind of happy to like see them be kicked down a peg or two. So I'm very happy to see Ilia there, and excited to see like Ilia expanding and just getting bigger. I really enjoy their products. This is a clean beauty brand that I really enjoy. Next is Karla Cosmetics. Karla Cosmetics is doing blushes. This is just a sneak peek. We have no info on this yet. They look beautiful. Karla Cosmetics has been on my wish list for a long time. Their multi-chrome eyeshadows look stunning. I just haven't pulled the trigger because it's a little overwhelming on their website, if I'm being honest, to know what colors I'm gonna want. They have so many options and they're pricey. So like if I'm gonna spend $100 on, you know, 3 or 4 shadows, I want them to be the best ones that I want. And it's a little bit, I will say, just like personally, I find their website to be a little bit hard to shop. I wish I could compare the iridescent shades, or I don't know, like that would be cool if I could see some different ones up against each other. I guess I could like take photos and then show them side by side and do it myself, but I find their website a little bit hard to use, and that's why I haven't purchased from them yet. The blushes, I probably would not purchase if I'm being honest, because they look like they have highlighter in them and they look very glowy, so that's not what I love. But the eyeshadows I really want to try. So if you've tried them, let me know if they're worth the price. I really wanted to talk about the blushes to really segue into the eyeshadows. That was really it for that. We have another foundation launch. For some reason, foundations just are not stopping their launches. LYS announced that they're going to be coming out with a stick foundation on August 27th. I love this. Man, stick foundations just won't quit either. I mean, it is just the year of stick foundations. I'm excited for this. I haven't tried anything from LYS. They're on my list of things to try, and I would much rather try this foundation stick over the current foundation that they have now, which is just a traditional liquid foundation. So very excited for this. This might be my first LYS purchase, but then that's 3 foundations that I'm purchasing, and I don't know if I need all of those. So we'll see. That's 3rd on my list for sure. Huda's first, then Patrick Ta, and then the LYS. Next up, we have a little bit more complexion. Dominique Cosmetics is coming out with a cream bronzer. How many shades? 6 shades. It's going to be available on the 16th. That's today, the day that I'm filming, I think. So it just came out. I don't know the price. I haven't loved a lot of things from Dominique Cosmetics that I've tried. And while I haven't tried any of like her bronzer blush highlight, I mean, this makes sense. She has a cream blush, she has a cream highlight, so cream bronzer makes sense. But I've tried the concealer, I've tried the powder, and it hasn't been my favorite. I've tried some eyeshadows. You know, for some reason, it's not a brand I like reach for in my collection. So I will skip this, but it makes sense. And I mean, people must like her stuff. She continues to come out with products. So there's a market out there for her, apparently. It's not for me, unfortunately. And then Rabanne is pumping out the products. I have mixed feelings about this brand. So they're actually coming out with two releases that I have. So they're coming out with these mini blush palettes. These are exclusive at Selfridges right now. 5 color stories. They're like these little duos. $31. I don't think that's a bad price. I don't think that's a bad price. I think these are cute. I'd love to see how big they actually are. Because they actually, well, this photo with the swatches, they look quite tiny. They almost look like eyeshadows compared to like her hand. I mean, she's holding 2 of them. It's very small, very mini. They mean it by mini. Interesting. All right, we're gonna see what this is all about. I'm intrigued. I'm not gonna buy it. It looks like one's a powder and one's a cream. I'm not too sure about this, but I think some people will buy it and let me know. They're also coming out with a concealer as well. So this is the all over concealer, again, exclusive at Selfridges, 15 colors, and this is $32. I would definitely be interested in trying the concealer. I did try the foundation. I did 2 videos on the foundation. I did one when it very first launched, when It like disappeared off the website. It was a whole thing. You can see my videos. I'll link it up above so you can see it. And then they finally launched it again, and I retried that foundation because I hated it so much. Like I said, it was a whole thing. I much liked the foundation the second time that I tried it. So that's the only reason I'd be interested in trying the concealer. The base products, other than that, like the cheek products, the eye products, they don't look that great. I haven't seen good reviews, so I skip the blushes, but the concealer does interest me. 2 indie palettes, and then I think we'll wrap this up because these are exciting launches. The first one being from Blend Bunny. My head, it just itches. I'm sorry I keep scratching it. Becoming very self-aware that I continue to do that. All right, back to Blend Bunny. They're doing a collaboration with someone. I don't know who. I'm sorry. I don't know who this is, and I don't know how to say their name. But it's the Little Miss She Never Misses. 25 shades, $47. Then there's a highlighting quad for $35. A lip liner for $12 and a gloss for $15. Coming out August 18th. This is not my style. I think you probably know that just by looking at it. It's very colorful for me. I really like this format from Blend Bunny. I like how she did the shimmers in like a cross and then little quadrants with the mattes. I think that's a new format for her, and I think it's going to go over well because she used to be really popular for doing kind of the gradients, and then people got real bent out of shape when she stopped doing that. So this is kind of like a good compromise, I would say. But I won't be picking up this palette. I did actually pick up the Longing palette. That was kind of like a palette I was on the fence about, and I decided to get it. It actually arrived just yesterday, so I will maybe do some looks with that palette, trying it out and do a video on it, even though it's not new. Just for fun, just so I can try it out and then just share it with the internet world. But I'm excited to try that palette. That's my first Blend Bunny eyeshadow palette purchase, and everyone talks about how great the formula is, but it also has to be a color story I'm going to use, and this one, unfortunately, I will not. Unearthly, though, is coming for my money. I swear, they just continue to release the coolest color stories that I feel like appeals to so many people, color lovers and neutral lovers like myself. So this is the Gargoyle color palette, $68. It is on pre-sale now. 18 pans, and it's this ethereal pastels to deep dark hues. This has like some good neutrals in it. I was a little bit nervous at first because of like the dark blues. I don't love blues, but once I just took those out of the palette, the rest of the shades are stunning. So for 2 shades that I'm not like the hugest fan of, really just one, it's the matte blue that I wouldn't love. Like, this palette's so pretty. And Unearthly, like, man, their palettes are so expensive. So like I don't want to like just be getting Unearthly palettes. I already skipped out on the Night Terror, their purple Halloween one, only because you had to buy it in their mystery bundle box with the highlighter and the gloss. And I didn't want to pay the money for a 9-pan, like still $66 for a 9-pan when I was only going to use the palette and not use the rest of it. So I did skip on that one, even though I wanted it. I believe she has other releases coming out, but the Gargoyle one is one I'm going to prioritize. I love her formula. I find it so easy to work with. And again, like, you can do really cool creative looks with it, but you can also do like very subtle, just everyday, I put in quotes, but for me, an everyday look that's a little bit more subtle and ethereal, but still like that punchy shimmer indie. I love them so much. So that's the last one I'm going to talk about. I'm going to end this on a high note. Let me know all your thoughts down below, what you plan on picking up, what you plan on skipping. Next week, I'll be talking about the new Nomad palette, but since I don't have the color story in front of me, I will not. And after that, this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.